Hey everybody, hope you are doing well. Bear with us today because we do have Sean Salisbury, but he is coming via audio only. He's got about a million things going on this week. Sean, can you hear me okay, buddy?
I got you, my man. Good to be on with you.
I appreciate you ducking out of your class to do this for a couple minutes. I know your schedule is crazy, and I don't want to get carried away. But you know what, man? I love the fact that you do stuff for your community, and you're not about words; you're about action. So, good job with the boys in the foster home, raising money. Good job with everything else, man. It touches my heart when I see you do stuff like so. So,
Well,
thank you very much.
that means a lot to me. And real quick, I'm in class. I'm a nut job. You know me, Grant. I feel like I need to find something else to do all the time, and I'm taking. I'm a day away. Tomorrow at 5 o'clock, I'll be a licensed mediator in
Wow,
the state of Texas, and so I'm really excited about it. But it's been great, and I appreciate you and your dedication to
thank
this
you.
and your kind compliments, brother.
Thank you. Let's go back to Monday night. I don't understand why so many coaches in the NFL now give up 3 points. First drive of Philadelphia, they go down the field. It's 4th and 4. Sirianni tries to go for it inside the 10, doesn't make it, gives up 3 points. Then the end of the game. Listen, Sean, the call's great. I've watched Saquon Barkley play every game. He drops a lot of passes. I mean, are you getting too cute there at the end of the game, Sean?
I think so. I do. And cute gets you in trouble. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's good to just be basic, Grant. Does that make sense? And
Yep.
when I say basic, I mean to simplify it and do what you do best. That's it for me. And yes, he lead. He's a really good player. He had a great first game. Left it on the ground. That happens. There's obviously deeper stuff when you lose a football game. But going back to it, and you are 100%. We chase points too early, Grant. And I'm not even talking about 2-point conversions. I'm talking about whatever happened in the day when you take the solid three and make the other team chase or go get your points, right? And we talk about first drives, last drives and the rest of it. But early drives are just as important, just like September games are. So, yeah, I think that we are in this age of you want to be the mad scientist, offensive coordinator, and you want to now creating mismatches and creating problems for defenses to give them something and make it look like something else. We want it to look complex to the defense and simple for us to execute. So, yeah, I think at times we do because, hey, we got to show that we're doing this and moving around and there's a time and a place. Sometimes if you got better talent, just line up and take care of your business. That's what it takes.
Sean, the defense, good Lord, what's Vic Fangio doing on defense on that final drive? It looked like it was a shell drill for Kirk Cousins on that final drive.
Yes, and most veteran quarterbacks in this league, and quite frankly, Grant, you want to make it easy, don't pressure anybody. Just let him sit back there and rip it. And this guy's thrown for 8 million yards. You put him in a position. It's almost like you're afraid to win or you're playing not to lose. Say, we'll keep in front. And doesn't it feel like it happens far more often? What's made team? Think about this. I'll tell you from a quarterback's perspective. You want to know what sucks? Yeah, getting man to man's great, or getting a blitz that you can pick up, but a little pressure and an okey doke over here and show him something. Come here, because I want Cousins off schedule. I don't want him to be able to drop back, set his feet, hang in a pocket, and do what he's done his whole career, and quite well. Thank you. Hell, he was the MVP in the league for a month or whatever it was last year. Before he got hurt, he was playing out of his mind. So you can't play into the guy's strengths. You got to create the weakness. And whatever that is, whether it's pressure, give him look. But you can't let me come to the line of scrimmage as an average player and see what I see and let me just execute that. So, yeah, I'm a big believer in go with what brung you. And Vic is a hell of a coordinator. But you allowed a veteran. Now, if you're doing this against a first-year guy or Bryce Young or a second-year guy, and you're saying, okay, let's make him make those throws even from the pocket on schedule. But Cousins, this is who he is. We've seen him
Yep.
put up numbers wherever he's been. To me, I think you make it way too easy. And you don't have to be crazy where you're creating, causing mismatches for your own defense. But you've had success. Vic Fangio understands that. I think you get to a point where you say, yeah, let's just be patient. That's no time to be patient. That's the time I need a sack and push him and make it 2nd 20. Now I can give up an 8-yard, 10-yard, 12-yard completion, but I can't give up those deep, over routes or the sail route on the sideline and allow him to sit back and set his feet. When he sets his feet, he's as good as we have in the league at delivering the ball.
Sean, I want to ask you about Caleb Williams. My eyeball test tells me he's going to be a hell of a quarterback, but I really don't know what to judge right now because his offensive line is so bad. I love his arm. I love his mobility. He's throwing the ball up for grabs too much. Is that just because of the offensive line? Is it because he's a rookie? Get into this for me.
I think it's a combination. I'm with you. The eye test tells me he's going to be special because as you see him when he does that, he can rip it now. Grant,
boy.
though, you remember the one where he threw a pick, but he moved to his right. I mean, was running towards the right sideline, threw back, and the ball was intercepted. They dropped it in the bucket to the other receiver. I can't begin to tell you how hard that throw is, even though it wasn't to his guy. It was near the target, but it was thrown to perfection. The other guy was in front, the DB. Listen, he's a dynamic and precise guy when he's on the edge. He'll continue to improve as a pocket guy, but human nature is this. If you know the guys up front you're gonna get your teeth kicked in. What do you rely on, Grant, in anything we do? We rely on what we're best at. And right now what he's best at is creating. He is a tremendous artist with the football, doing this, making things happen, having to chase around. He's a physical guy. And so, yes, the eye test says, forget the stats. The eye test says we got special qualities here. And the Bears are going to be better. But guys can't look at Bryce Young last year and now he's on the bench. And they did a good job offensive line in Carolina this past week. He didn't have a lot of pressures, but when you're playing from your ass, it's hard to do. And Caleb Williams, and it's the hero thing, Grant. It's, he knows he's got to make damn near every play. Now, their defense is showing up and they are physical, and they look like a Bears defense is supposed to. But weapons-wise, and when you don't have your full arsenal like Keenan Allen, it makes a difference. And you feel as a rookie, you have to make more plays. You're the first pick of the draft. They're counting on me. And in the process of being a hero, you force things that you probably wouldn't normally force. Yet, if he just let the game come, you end up being a hero anyway. He's going to have plenty of good moments. I think the Chicago Bears not only made a good choice, I think they made the right choice. And this is how it's going to look all year, Grant. He's going to have to make a play. For him, for success, is bore me at times. It's okay to throw a check down. It's okay to run the quick game if you're the offensive coordinator. So the ball is coming out. But I don't want to coach out of him his ability to make great dynamic off-schedule plays. But, yeah, it's just – he knows he's got to make a lot of plays. We've seen this movie in other teams with rookies. Got to make all these plays, and in the process, those defenses are pretty good. You're going to make mistakes along with it.
But you just mentioned Bryce Young. If I'm Bryce, I'm going to look at Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold, two guys right now that have new leases on lives who were in the same position that he was in, although they didn't get benched early in their second year. How's he bounce back from this, Sean?
Being what we've always expected, he gets it. And Grant, I like to revert back, say, listen, think back to when you had your success, whether it's in a game as a pro, which there hasn't been many for them since he's been here, and go back to your success at Alabama. I know it's different. It's the NFL, but I like to draw on successes. I don't want to belabor a point. He knows, listen, he's not real accurate right now. He's got great football IQ, but he also, I think he's feeling the pressure of, man, I'm the first pick of the draft. I got to be great. Just kind of like Caleb is now, but Caleb's on a better team. And anybody right now he didn't even finish the season last year because he was banged up, who calls him a bust, right now you think, well, I got to move him. It's a horrible pick. I think it's unfair and it's premature. I'm not willing to go there yet. And you really want to know, you heard what Baker Mayfield said about him when you don't have a great supporting cast and you're not playing great football. Now you're starting to question yourself because, Grant, think about it. At Mater Dei, at Alabama, how much failure did the guy have? Not
None.
a lot.
Right.
That's exactly right. So this is his first bout with it, and it will serve him well as long as he's as mentally tough as I think he is. And I do believe he is mentally tough. It's just, listen, you don't want to, and he's not going to blame his teammates. It'll be good for him. Sometimes, like anything, it's good to take a step back. Your career's just getting started. Watch a veteran handle the huddle and how you do it. And then if they go 1-3, you'll be back in. Just don't blow the second chance because they're going to come back to you. Yeah. They invested money in a draft pick in you. And it's, to me now, it becomes the mental thing of, okay, I got kicked in the teeth. How do I respond? And there's far more growth in adversity than there is in constant success. And that's all he had. So now he's facing a tough part of his career, but it's in the infancy. I couldn't root harder for the guy because I don't feel like he's an excuse maker. And this is the right move, Grant. Certain guys you got to let play through it. They're playing so bad that if you continue to let this happen, you're telling the other 50-plus guys that you don't care about the team, that this is a one-guy show, and it's not. He'll be better as he moves on, and he understands success. Dealing with failure is a hard thing, but he will be better as long as he stays engaged as the backup and doesn't pout, and I don't think he will.
Sean, how much trouble are the 49ers in right now? Last year, when Deebo Samuel was not on the field, they lost 3 games in a row. Now you don't have him, and you still won't have Christian McCaffrey for a couple of weeks.
Well, we saw with the McCaffrey out. Now, listen, anybody said, well, they can run it without him just as effectively. Well, let's not be misled. His bandwidth in the passing game and catching balls, McCaffrey makes defenses use up practice time because of his ability to be everywhere. And now you get the biggest Swiss Army knife in the league. And now you're not just not using up other teams' practice time. You know what you're doing? You're allowing them to focus on doing some other things. So the 49ers are going to be fine running it. They lose something in a lot when you don't have Deebo in the passing game and the run game and McCaffrey. So your bandwidth shrinks. You went from 5G back down to 2G. Does that make sense, Grant?
Yeah.
You got a good quarterback. And now when I see this, and I kind of compare it to a little bit of the Houston Astros this year, Grant, they've lost 5 starting pitchers. They're 5 in front of first place. And those 5 starting pitchers, it's the strength of their team right now is pitching. And you're saying Hunter Brown and Fromber and Verlander may not even be in the postseason starting rotation in 15 games. So it's the same with the 49ers now. And you know what they did? Another guy elevated. So Kittle's going to have to even take it to another level and be more involved. Ayuk's going to have to elevate. The defense is going to have to give no short fields. It's the 49ers. They're going to be fine. The Rams are 0-2. Arizona looks to be better. But fine is not what the 49ers want. So you're going to have to do some really, really creative stuff. And then you're going to rely on your quarterback and your veterans that have seen this, the Fred Warner on defense, to do something special. All you want to do is grind out some wins until you can get fairly healthy. But when you lose the 2 most versatile players on their team on offense, it can't help but affect what you're doing. And Brock's got to guard against, again, I use the word hero, guard against thinking he's got to make every play. You lean on those guys that can make plays. And we saw in the running game, they're still pretty damn efficient with the backup.
Niners and Rams this week, and the Rams 0-2. If they lose, their season may be over. I'm curious. You just mentioned the Astros. The Texans have firmly now arrived. I think they're the team to beat in that division. I love what I see. Do you get more talk about, is it now the Texans town or is it still Astros? Because for years you've been telling me, boy, it's a great baseball town. With the Texans struggling, it's all Astros, Astros, Astros. What's it like now there, Sean?
Little paradigm shift. They're still Astros, Grant, because they've seen 7 years of the body of work and now an 8th one where they've been in the ALCS 7 straight years and working on an 8th that it's like, okay, this has become a dynasty, and it really has.
Yep.
They've created a dynasty, and even in all the loss and all the injuries and Tucker out for 75 games and Bregman's been hurt. I mean, they're in first place, which is crazy. So
yep.
they still lean to the Astros, but there's a lot of lean because you know why? The coach and the quarterback. Now, I think the Texans right now, to me, they're the only Kansas City is better than them in the AFC. I believe that. I agree. 100%. It's not a homer. I'm a Raider fan. So it's not, they got the quarterback. They're versatile. They've got offensive bandwidth. They fly around on defense. They just got to stop pre-snap penalties. They're better running the ball on offense with Mixon in that offensive line. Stop the pre-snap procedure penalties. Don't beat yourself. Control what you can and not jumping off sides you can control. Their kicker is automatic from like 60. The guy's had 6+ 50+ field goals in 2 weeks. I mean, Fairbairn's off the charts. They've got every element covered. They do. And they'll attack, and they haven't played their best football. The Kansas City Chiefs right now are the only team in the AFC that I think on a neutral site that would be favored over Baltimore wouldn't be favored over. Texans are better, and they've got a freak show at quarterback, and he hadn't even played his best this year. Yeah, it is an Astros still, but about 4 weeks from now, depending on the Astros, and they'll get back in that postseason fever, the fans will. But the gap's closed, Grant. You know, football in Texas is king, but in Houston, it's been the Astros because they've won. But from front office to ownership to front office to coach to quarterback and to drafts and what they're building, yeah, the gap's closed. And I asked the question the other day. You answer this for me. Who's going to win a championship again first? Even though the Texans haven't won one. Who's winning the next championship? The Astros or the Texans?
Wow, that's a phenomenal question.
Yeah,
wow.
So and you know what? People did like we're doing, hesitate. Damn, I'm not sure. The Texans look pretty good, but the Astros are in first place. So there's a lot to think about. But I can tell you this, Houston sports hasn't felt this good in quite some time. And Udoka's done a great job of helping the Rockets get to another level, and they've got some good young players. Sports in Houston is pretty good right now.
Yeah, last thing for you. A lot of good teams right now are 0-2, and I like to use a 4-week out of the gate
Right.
before I get too crazy about evaluating teams. The Ravens, the
Right.
Bengals, both 0-2. They're better than 0-2, especially the Ravens. I can't believe that they lost to the Raiders. So to me, this week coming up, these teams that are 0-2, boy, if they lose and go 0-3, they have one hell of an uphill battle.
Yeah, and Grant, and plus the AFC North, say for Cincinnati and Baltimore, is going to get tougher. They're
Yep.
not going to. They're too talented to linger there, right? But
Yep.
when you're down 3, and I always love it. Hey, you got to win in December. Well, damn, if you don't take care of September and early October, December ain't going to matter. So you're exactly right. I would expect both of those teams to be on an elevated level, including the Rams, where they're like, we don't want to be in this chase mode the entire year. That's 3 really damn good 0-2 football teams. And I still think all 3 could make the playoffs. I do, Grant. I believe that. But they're going to have to get it going right away, because you go into October and you're 1-4, somewhere in October, or 1-3. You run into teams that start to hit it, and we know identities. By the first month I'm with you, I start to figure out the identity of a team. I give them that leeway. But starting out 0-3 with those rosters, then you start to get the in-house, like, well, what's wrong with the offense? What's wrong with the defense? Some of that stuff starts to creep in that you don't let it. But 0-2, I'm not convinced that they're not playoff teams. Get to 0-3, and that futures bet stays in my pocket on those teams when it comes to Super Bowl, probably.
I appreciate your effort to get on the show today, my friend, and we'll talk to you next Wednesday.
I wouldn't miss it anytime. You know I'm with you, brother. I appreciate you having me on and your patience with this. Thank you.
Thank you, buddy. Be good.
All right, bud.
Bye-bye.
You too.
Good stuff, Sean Salisbury. That guy's got more stuff going on. Really, he is amazing. Today, all right, Wednesday, couple hours from now, we got a packed show. All right, this is a good day on Wednesday. Let me tell you what we got going on. All right, matter of fact, I'm going to read it right off Twitter, because we've got open forum coming up at 8:00. So we'll be right back here at 8:00 on If You Don't Like That. Ryan will join me at 8:00, and we'll take phone calls and a lot more. So my thanks to Sean for running out of his class to get on and do this. Love that. John, I will ask Sean next week about the new kickoff rule, because I want to get his take on the new kickoff rule. I got to tell you, after watching it for 2 weeks, I hate it. I don't like it at all. It's gimmicky. It doesn't add any excitement to the game for me, personally. That's just me. I'm not. Maybe I need to see more of it, but I'm not a fan of it. I'm not a fan of it. Adam says, I love Sean's take about Bryce Young. I love when Sean talks, Adam, about the quarterback position. He's spot on. His expertise from playing the position, both at a high level in college and the highest level of the NFL, definitely says something. And I was going to ask Sean about Deion Sanders, but he's pressed for time today. And I will talk to him about Deion Sanders, because we not only talk about the NFL with Sean, we talk about college football. I did a rant on this today. I'm so done with Deion Sanders and his egomania, hypocritical attacks on the media. Shut up and coach your team, would you please? I wish the Denver media would boycott the Colorado Buffaloes for a week, and then we'll see what their take is. All right. I want to see Colorado. I want to see Deion Sanders and his egomaniac personality not being interviewed all week and not having anyone talking about his football team. He would go freaking ballistic. I would love to see the Denver media come together and go, you know what? We're not covering you until you stop attacking us. What a joke. Seriously. It's a joke. Absolutely joke. Patrick says, I don't like that better than no kickoff, saying neither. Yeah, Kevin says it isn't football. Seems like a flag football thing. I'm with you. It's just rinky dink. I'm not a fan of it. I'm really not. I'm not a fan of it in any way, shape, or form. All right. My thanks to Sean Salisbury. And again, be sure and join us in a couple of hours tonight at 8:00. Open forum. We'll be happy to take your questions, your phone calls, anything else. And then tomorrow, all right, I'll be doing a show at 4:00, right before Thursday Night Football. The Jets, their first home game after being on the road at San Francisco and at Tennessee, home to take on the Patriots. So I'll do a show tomorrow at 4:00, And then we'll get you ready for Thursday night football, and then we'll wrap up the week on Friday. Get you ready for the college football and the complete NFL schedule. 2 Monday night games this week. Did you see that? You got a doubleheader on Monday. So, yeah, if you like to just watch football wall to wall, oh my gosh, absolutely. Well, Colorado isn't going to be talking about the Broncos either. Well, see, that's where you're wrong, my friend. That's where you're wrong. They talk about the Broncos 365 days a year in Denver when they're good and when they're bad. I've spent a lot of time in Denver. So that's where you're mistaken. They talk about the Broncos every day. They talk about the Broncos every day in March, the same way they talk about the Broncos every day in September. It is truly, truly a Denver Broncos town. All right, on that note, we'll say so long. Talk to you tonight at 8 o'clock. Bye-bye now. Thank you to Sean Salisbury again next Wednesday at 3 o'clock right here on If You Don't Like That.